Sarah, about this difficult conversations course? Who is it for?
Well, the Difficult Conversations course is for leaders in education, whether they are middle leaders or senior leaders or anything in between, actually. So if you have a leadership role and you are in education, be that a pastoral leader and you are engaging with students, you're engaging with parents an awful lot, or if you are a faculty head, or if you, whatever role you might have, it's for you. It's for you.
So what will people actually be doing in this course? What will you be covering?
Overall, I think it's about enabling people to understand who they are, how they come to a conversation, and how to be able to navigate any conversation with greater comfort, confidence, and greater grace and ease, really. So it's all of those things.
So how many sessions are there on the course?
There are 6 sessions on the course, and they literally run through session 1, where we're going to look at the anatomy of a difficult conversation. What makes them difficult? Why do we avoid them? All the different challenges that we may have. They may be real, they may be imagined, and then we explore sort of like the neuroscience behind what makes them difficult as well. So not just what makes them difficult for us, but the reasons why. Then we're going to look at core communication skills. So this would be session 2 and session 3. So core communication skills, and this involves everything from expansive listening to being understanding the different kinds of communication styles, our use of language, and asking really great questions as part of a conversation. And then session 4 is then actually drilling down to prepare for a difficult conversation. So participants will bring a conversation that they've had in the past or a conversation that they're planning for at the moment. So it's very, very practical and very hands-on. So we'll look then at preparing for a difficult conversation, the work that needs to happen beforehand. And then session 5 is the conversation itself. So how to actually structure it, what key skills you might need to be able to have in that, the common challenges that people face. So all the sort of like the ifs, buts, and maybes. If things get thrown up, what do I do? And then finally, session 6 is putting it all together, where we'll work in everyone together, looking at different scenarios, testing out different approaches. And even though that is a theme that will run through, you don't have to wait until session 6 to actually try anything. Even though that's a theme that runs through, session 6 is really where we bring it all together and try and emphasize, really, with lots of opportunity to practice all the way through, lots of opportunity for feedback all the way through, and also lots of opportunity to learn from each other all the way through as well.
So here's a challenge for you. This is one. People might say, and in fact, I know they say, because I've heard them say, oh, it's just a conversation, just a conversation. Surely anyone can just have conversations. Why do you need to practice having a conversation? Well, why do you, in your experience, need to practice having a conversation?
That is a great question, actually. Yes, we can all have a conversation, in that we're having one now. This one's not practiced, by the way, in case there's any doubt, at all. But some of the conversations, when we're thinking about difficult conversations matter. The way that you have them, the way that you approach them matter, because anything where there is high emotion, anything where there are high stakes, emotions run high, the more that you can do in advance to prepare for that conversation, both in terms of how you show up to the conversation and being really clear in your mind what it is you want to say, the better that conversation will go. And if you think about a conversation, a difficult conversation that you've got to have, and if you think about the other person and put yourself in that other person's shoes, is that a conversation that they're going to remember for the rest of their lives, for example? So how you are in that conversation, what you bring to that conversation, that humanity, that connection that you can bring to a conversation, the more that you think about that beforehand, the better experience both you and the other person can actually have. So it's not sort of like an adversarial approach, which is quite often what we might take to conversations where our emotions get out of hand and so on. It's much more of a how can we connect with somebody, how can we come together as two human beings within a structure that enables us to understand each other better and find solutions together. The more that you're able to prepare and think in advance for that, the better that conversation is likely to go. So it's going to be a conversation that's done with rather than done by or done to.
And why is that particularly important for school leaders, would you say? Leaders at whatever level they are?
Mm. A number of reasons, actually. I think first and foremost, because conversations matter, and conversations matter for relationships first and foremost, and schools are built on relationships. Schools are about culture. And every single interaction that we have with somebody, whether that's a difficult conversation or a hello in the corridor, whatever that might be, who we are in those conversations and how we come to those conversations is really important. So the thinking about it, the planning it, when everything is built around relationships in a school, I think is super important. You're gonna have to remind me of the question again.
The question was, why is it really important in a school
Okay, yes.
to have conversations?
So it's really important for relationships, it's really important for culture. And I think it's really important because the more open and honest and transparent communication that you can have in a school, the greater possibility there is there for learning and growth. So if every conversation is approached, and I did think about this actually with the title Difficult Conversations. If we think about something that's been difficult, chances are it's actually going to be difficult. So if we're able to reframe that, to turn those difficult conversations, to transform them, whatever the topic might be, into an opportunity to connect, into an opportunity to learn, into an opportunity to inspire, to grow, to help people feel better, do better, be better, then that is school. That's what school's all about, isn't it? Everything is a learning opportunity. So culture, relationships, and then the last thing that I mentioned there around just the opportunity for coming together and growth in every conversation.
How easy is it, do you think, for people to learn to have good, proper, challenging, transforming conversations? How easy is it for people to learn to do that?
So how long is a piece of string? Sort of a question there, or answer there, Helen. I think if you come to I don't know if you can necessarily teach it. It's like leadership. I don't know if leadership can be taught. I think that there has to be that element of learning. So I think it depends how you come to the learning experience. So if you come to the learning experience with an open mind, and that you are prepared to be wrong, and that you are prepared to challenge yourself and to have a go and to make mistakes and to build and show and grow that growth mindset that we talk to all of our students about all the time, then it's not necessarily easy, but it's very doable in a short space of time. But it goes beyond skills. It's not just about, oh, I must summarize here, or oh, I need to apply this framework there, or whatever it might be. It's actually going into it. The first step is transforming your mindset, in that a conversation is an opportunity for two people or more to come together, two people to understand each other, to bridge whatever divide there might be, to come out of our bubbles, to to be curious, and try and understand what's going on in somebody else's space. If we can come to a conversation with that mindset, and that's the most difficult thing, I would say, then the rest in many ways just becomes much more straightforward and much easier. So I think that the mindset is the first thing, the first piece that needs to be in place, which then the skills, etc., can be built on over time.
And what would be your greatest hope for this course, this Difficult Conversations course that's running in the summer term?
That we can bring together a group of international school leaders who, if they are anything like me over the course of the last 20 years, if I go back about 10 years and I would sit and worry about a conversation that I need to have, I would have sleepless nights about conversations that I needed to have, whether that might be with a student, a parent, a member of staff. And my greatest hope is that the course, through learning and experiencing and practicing and making mistakes, etc., that people are able to walk away with a real confidence in being able to navigate any kind of situation, any kind of conversation that comes up. So there is reduced sleepless nights, there is less anxiety, there are less sweaty palm moments. And actually it's about a change in mindset that how can we have a better conversation about whatever that might be, rather than actually be a difficult conversation, because after all, it is just about coming together and learning about another person, learning about each other's perspectives, and then being able to navigate a solution. And of course, world peace at the end of all of that, because every single person, if everybody, and if we could teach children this as well, if everybody could learn the skills that are taught in the Difficult Conversations course, and everybody were to come to conversations with that mindset, then actually world peace is not, would not be far off, actually. But yeah, for 6 weeks, we'll stick to being able to have better conversations in school. But the ripple effects in all areas of life could be huge as well.